because when you say, "Hey, I want to pick a girl," you're like you go you pay the bar fee and then you go do whatever you do. Um, so so
I'm
I'm there at the bar and I see Kevin. He go he has his he's buck naked and he has his pants crumbled up into like a ball and he's covering his junk, right?
Oh, I think I remember this
And
one.
he's like, "This is the last time I'm ever going to this fucking place ever again." And they're like and he's like, "Oh, hey, Phil, what's up?" And he walked right to me. I'm like, "Could you" I'm like, "Motherfucker, could you put your pants on before you start reintroducing yourself to me?" Like, son of a bitch. And then, like he's like, "Oh, shit, you got a Heineken." And he grabs it. He grabs my fucking Heineken and starts drinking it. Like, "You son of a bitch. What did you First off, what was your mouth in? And you know what? Just fucking keep the fucking Heineken, you prick." Like, yeah, so that was
Oh my god.
and then on the ride back, he's like
and
he's I was like, "What the fuck did you get kicked out for?" He's like, "Well, so what happened was, so I was with this girl, right? And after the soapy, we started doing our thing, right? The soapy massage, whatever. But anyway, he's like, so then I like peed on her. I'm like, what the fuck is the matter with you? What the fuck is the matter with you? Like, I'm pretty sure, like, like, like this isn't an R. Kelly video. People don't like to get peed on, okay?
It's fucking Thailand. All that other shit, I probably could find
This
someone
is
that
probably tape for them.
Yeah, I mean, probably, but I was like, look, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
a high
Are you
class,
out of your mind?
This is a
Yes.
and
The answer is yes. The dude's
and
out of his mind.
and
Obviously, but
people wonder
yeah.
what and people wonder why and the army wonders why people think they're degenerates. This is the fucking reason why. So
Well, he's special. Like
He's
I have
really
to say,
special.
how old
really fucking special.
how old was Kevin
Yeah.
at this time? Was he like
He's about
one?
my age. He's about my age.
But at the time was he like
Oh
a horny like 19-year-old or something
no,
like?
I was so my first. I was 20. We were no. I in fact I was 20. He was 21. He had already been there. The time he'd already done a rotation over there before we both got there. So he already knew all the ins and outs.
Oh,
Like,
so
Ins and outs.
so he
yeah.
should
Wait a minute. I told you guys about the the uh the dirty show in Pattaya, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I know you told me that one. By the way, we're multi-streaming on the Whitfield Report channel now.
Okay. Oh,
Oh fucking
they're
yeah.
Store
so they're getting a taste of this wildness too, huh?
story time with Dictator Phil. So
Fuck. All right. Sorry. By the way, Whitfield verse. I apologize in advance. If you're looking for not perverted stories, I apologize in advance.
we just talk up how much I like boobs on the show now. So
It's better than the other subject that you like talking about.
what?
yeah, really.
I'm not gonna say his name.
What Big Bird? And that's what we're calling him.
I was gonna say, oh, is that what you call him now? Is that what you call him?
Yeah, Big Bird.
That's actually great.
So
Well, actually, Phil, I'm curious. Like, after all this like Thailand experience in your military shit, 'cause you've told me a lot of stories. I've always
Mhm.
wondered, after all that, because I've seen you in college. Did it make you like refrain from a lot of that stuff and go, okay, need to cool it now, seen enough, or was it just like, you know, like what's the next high? What's the next crazy shit I can find?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like because of the because of the military. I mean that I'm sure that probably had something to do with the behavior, my behavior too. But look, I've buried more friends and more fucking people than I could count. Like I lost count of how many military funerals I've been to years ago. There's just certain things. There's so many extremes that I've went through in my life, and I'm like, and it's just like I don't know. I feel I don't want to say emotionalist, but like I don't feel like there's like feelings that you get like
You're you're
when
j-
extreme shit happens that I don't feel anymore. Like I don't feel anything like that. That surprised feeling that I used to feel, like when I tell you those stories, I used to be surprised. I was like, used to be like, oh my God, what the fuck, man? Th-
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't happen anymore. Like I don't think I've ever felt that way in a long time. Like,
I've heard of that happening from some
yeah,
of my other veteran buddies.
yeah. So, it is what it is. And and going to college, like I'm like I don't know. I don't know how to react because like if you're like the people that went to college, they were like, they're experiencing some of this wild shit for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So it does something to them psychologically. For me, it's like, well, I've seen some really fucked up shit. So there's nothing like what the fuck. I'm like everybody else, like I would see something like, you go to a party and you see some college doucher trying to finger a girl in a fucking bar and everybody else is going, oh my God, this is nuts. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Cause I've seen it before. Like, yo, I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, I
You've
don't,
seen worse.
yeah, you've seen that and way worse.
I've seen, I've seen trannies try to blow dudes on the fucking street, man. And like, yo, like what? And it's like open too. Like, you go to you go to Walking Street or whatever in Pattaya, and like, you got like, some of the streetwalkers that are on Walking Street are like, I mean, they're fucking dudes. They're she dudes, but like, and then just try to grab somebody's junk in front. Like what? Like I'm like, I I don't know. It just does something to you. It just fucks your brain up, and like
Mm.
like well, now
Yeah.
and now anything crazy I see, I'm just like, oh, that's interesting. And
Yeah, the reason I ask is because like the one thing I noticed by you when I first met you was like I could tell like I remember I first like heard you speak at, like the turning point meetings. I was like, okay, I really like this guy. Like he's fired up and he's pretty cool. Reminds me kind of like my other military friend Rob. And I was like, the same kind of mannerisms and tonal
yeah.
cadences and speaking things. I'm like, I think he's military. I'm like, I think he's seen some shit. I'm like, this
Oh
should be
yeah.
interesting. And it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
it makes you wonder, like, because you seem very, very normal, yet very much like you'd seen shit. It's like, I don't know how to describe it because you
Yeah.
probably understand what I'm saying, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, normal. That's a fucking
Yeah, what
reach.
does that mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what?
That's a reach. What's up?
Yeah, well, yeah, what exactly? I get what Sean is saying though. You seem fucking normal compared to the rest of the people out there these
Well, yeah, because
days.
you get like people that are like really weird or really like out there, or like even with military people. Like it's sometimes you get ones that are like really stiff and really like you crack a joke and it's like, hey, you can laugh, it's okay. Not everything's serious. Some of them are like you can tell they've just been totally fucked up, that they're like beyond repair, and other
Okay.
ones.
So one the only so in Penn State, like I actually had a college girl ask me out, and I was like,
Fuck yeah.
and I asked her, I'm like, do you have like daddy issues or something? Because I'm like, clearly I'm not, I'm older. Okay. Clearly, if you could look at me, I'm clearly fucking older. Okay. I'm not like, I mean, you could say that I'm not as old as some people, but like I'm clearly older than the college kids out there. Like, I mean, and like if your girl, hey, we should just hang out sometime. I'm like, I'm looking at her. I'm like, do you have daddy issues or something? Like, yeah. And I didn't. And she's like, "You're an asshole," and then like left. I'm like, and for me, I was like, "Well, shit,
Chad.
yo." I'm like, and for me, I didn't think anything of it, but I'm like, "Oh my god, it probably hurt this girl's feelings." Like, and like, oh, it's just. But like, I'm serious. Like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Trying like
Yeah.
talking to me, I mean, like, do you not know how old? Like, I'm older. Like, this isn't Europe, okay? We here in America,
We have
fuck
standards
around.
here, god damn it.
You fuck around with people your own age or somewhere. There's like a ratio, okay?
Yeah.
Unless you're a drug dealer or a fucking sugar daddy or something like that. There's standards, okay? All right, standards.
Yeah. That is weird. Like, I mean, if I've seen we know of a particular person that goes a little younger than they should, and it's weird. Like everybody knows it's weird. That's like one of those things that's not even a like mystery or controversy. It's like you just feel it and you know it. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like if you're not feeling and knowing that, you're crazy. There's something wrong with you.
There is the flip side of that though too. It's not just women. There are guys my age who like
Absolutely.
older women, shall we
Yep.
say.
Oh, yeah.
I actually one of my friends who lives in Colorado now. It's funny. I met him here in Florida, and then he moved to Colorado. So go figure. And he's a
Reverse
great
Uno.
and he's a great guy. Shout out to Brandon if you're listening to this podcast. But he was hitting on my mom, and like
What the fuck?
and like my mom is not an unattractive woman, but like clearly, like my mom's in her 60s, and like she's clearly old enough to be his mom too, and it's just like one of those things that's like weird. With that being said, I don't want to be too hypocritical because there are some women in their 40s and dare I say even early 50s that
I would still fuck Christine Brinkley.
Yeah, oh yeah, Christy Brinkley
No
is
way.
Christy.
I think she's probably 62. Like I probably still would.
Christy Brinkley is up there. You mentioned Melania earlier. Another one from Melania's era would be Angie Everhart. Probably the reason I love redheads. So,
well, it's one thing to be like with Melania, like, whoa, she's hot as shit, or to like look at like some of these like news anchors that are obviously much older than us, go like, damn, that's hot, that's beautiful, but like to then go the extra mile, slide into the DMs and be, hey, we should hang out sometime at this bar downtown. It's like, whoa. That's action. That's a line crossed.
Melania's 50.
She doesn't look it. But then again, age.
Donald Trump is a fucking Chad.
He is.
Chad.
He's
He's what, 70-some years old?
He's like
Holy
72.
God. Fucking Chad, right?
I mean,
dude, I don't blame him.
I mean, he got with
Stormy.
Stormy was a low point, but he got with Karen McDougal when she was in her prime. So I bet Sean doesn't even know who I'm talking about. So I know Phil.
She's a porn actress, isn't she?
No, she was Playmate of the Year, and there is a difference.
Oh, is there, Sam? Well,
Oh,
it's I do know recognize the name from all like the allegations that were thrown at him, but it's I think what's crazy though, to be honest, is like when you get to his level of access in the world, where you're around the people he's around. I mean, I gotta admit, like, how could you not be single? And how, like, look, you could be the greatest guy, but it's probably gotta be really tempting to stay loyal and commit in marriage when you have all these like hot asses and tits around you. I'm not saying you should do it, obviously it's wrong, but the temptation's gotta be insane. It's like it's almost unsafe to be married at that point.
that tells you what kind of fucking awesome woman Melania must be, though.
Yeah, she puts up with
Holy
that.
God! No, I mean, I'm saying to have somebody to 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 have a billionaire rich real estate fucking intelligent human, just an absolute intelligent human being with unbelievable access to all kinds of like gorgeous
Mm.
artillery, and Melania like is that awesome of a fucking person to reel him in.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, but I mean, she's a like Melania is a very like there's I mean, obviously she's very, very attractive, but like there is a powerful presence to her that that I can see that just draws people. Like that can just
Mhm.
draw people.
Well,
Like you've seen her, you've been around her, Sean. Like there's that presence that's like almost like an aura, like I get it. Like you could look at her and go, I get it, right?
well,
It's
Beyond
very interesting because like
beyond
when
the looks, there's like a I get it.
yeah, it's really, maybe it's because I mean, I was in the campaign mode, so take any of what I say with a grain of salt, but like I was first like there's a little element of surprise because it sounded like she was going to be the one coming and I kind of expected it, but when she walked out of the basement and came to where we were, it was really just it was kind of I'm gonna say weird, but I'm not saying that in a negative way because it was like she felt very much like she belonged there. Like there was a presence and it was very normal. And she looked like who you thought she was. Like a lot of these people, like you look at them on TV and you see them in person, you're like, shit, I didn't expect them to look like that. Like she looked like how you'd imagine, and we probably have high expectations for her. But at the same time, like when Kellyanne was talking, when everybody else was talking, like Melania just held the fucking, like, air, like, she sucked the oxygen out, she was the central piece there, like, I'm not saying this in, like, a silly way, but she kinda has, like, a
There's
presence
like
of,
a
like, an angel, you
yeah,
know?
it's
It's
like
like,
an elegance.
"Whoa."
There's like an elegance there, it's a complete command, a social command of wherever she walks. Like you could tell like she was definitely it's almost like to me what it looks like is like she was born to be the first lady. Like that
Yeah.
when I see her like
Just
when
go
I
right
see
through
her
it.
I'm like she was born for this role. Like so I'm thinking like so that's why every night I pray that Donald Trump gets 4 more years of this shit. Like, please give us 4 more. Please don't let us have it this good and then just rip it away, okay? We got the God, just give us more. All right? No.
Yeah.
can I tell you guys something though to the end, and I don't misunderstand. I want Trump to I definitely want Trump to get 4 more years as well, but at this point, like I'm not as depressed as I was a month ago. If Biden wins, because you know what, I'm gonna I'm gonna keep on doing my fucking show, and I know you guys are gonna keep on. We'll still have content and shit to talk about. I mean,
Mhm.
I fucking started in the Obama, in the fucking Obama era, and I I'm just gonna make fun of old man Biden, and then if the bitch becomes president, which she will most likely, I'll have a field day with her. So
Well, we were talking about this earlier because we kind of disagreed as to how we thought things might go and whatnot. I kind of feel you, Sam, because I was actually, I think, more down when the day after the election when I saw those states go because that gave me the oh shit feeling and had kind of a spike of optimism that went down, went up a little recently, it's kind of down again. But what I've been saying though, because I look at just the raw numbers that we do have, is that regardless of how this goes, and I fucking hope to kingdom come that Trump wins, but win or lose, we have 10 million new people in our movement. It's bigger and stronger than ever before, and it's trending in the right direction. It's MAGA America First is forever. It's only going to get bigger and better as long as Trump is in this game still somehow, and he will be. I mean, we're gonna hopefully find more prominent people to carry on the torch in the future, but it's really a bright future we have, honestly. The game has changed, and when you seen that Georgia rally, people chanting "Fight for Trump," the people are behind populism. The people are behind nationalism. They're behind Trump. The
well,
people are not behind the Democrats, and they're not behind the elite, and they're not behind the Republican Party. It's a very important thing to observe and to learn as we continue.
Mhm.
here's what I said, and by the way, hello chat. Sean is actually younger than I am. He's not an old guy.
Does somebody call me old?
Here's the thing.
No, I'm
Who in
the
the
old
chat
one,
called
I'm
me
sorry.
old?
Here's
Look,
the
I'm the
here.
old one.
Here's the thing. Sean and I both sound a lot older than I am. I'm 25. Sean's 22.
You're close, very close. I turned 23 a couple months ago.
And then Phil, Phil, I just found out you're 40. So
Mhm.
happy
That's right.
belated. And I feel 45 after 2020. So we're even.
Feels like, nah, man, you haven't seen shit yet.
Oh geez. If this shit continues to go downhill by the time I'm 45, we're in trouble. But anyway,
We've got problems though. I mean, we got the one thing that really kind of bothers me with the whole political thing, and and anytime somebody says, "Oh, well, we've had bumps in the road before, we've had ebbs and flows and all that stuff." The thing I always think, like, the one thing uh for me is we've never had a fucking opposition like China before. Like,
Mm,
China has gotten stronger, they've gotten more, um they've gotten richer, their military is stronger, their military tech is stronger. Um
that is true, but I feel like this shit is. But at the same time, Phil, like I kind of feel like in regards to China, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I kind of feel like I feel like this was bound to happen anyway with China. Like we were going to have to confront them eventually anyway. I mean, they've been they've been in my window since like the early 2000s, and like even going back to the even going back to like the even going back to the early 80s, people were saying that you know, um, that they were going to be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious that they're like China is playing. I mean, dirty is an understatement. Dirty is the understatement of the fucking lifetime. But like you're talking about, the ridiculously predatory trade deals with other countries, the fucking the mass slave labor force that they have over there. Um it's just the IP theft, like it's insane. Like it's just insane what they have going on over there. And like
But it's nothing new. That's my point. Is all this all this shit has been going on in China for decades. We've just never had to pay for it. We've just never had to be aware of it. So
mhm. I mean, I don't I feel like if we got 4 more years of Trump, I think stuff changes quickly. Stuff changes absolutely quickly, even just
oh
from day
yeah.
one. But like, I know that's wishful thinking, but like at this point, I mean anything's possible, like the supreme if one Supreme Court ruling could fucking change literally everything. But I know that's borderline wishful thinking, but hey, a guy can dream. No, but it's but how they're behaving from, like especially like they China really wasn't able to to financially take over countries like they are now. Like they're able to like what they're doing to Europe. Holy fuck what they're doing to Europe. My God, what they're doing to like England and Italy and like Germany and like what they're doing to Australia. It's like it's nuts. It is fucking nuts.
No, dude,
And
I hear you loud and clear. And to answer Jen's question in the Whitfield report chat, I mean, probably to answer probably not Jen's question, probably not. Trump doesn't stand a chance. Like that's what I'm saying. Realistically, Biden is going to probably become
yeah.
POTUS at that point, unless the Supreme Court does something. Um, because fucking Sidney Powell's thing was fucking bullshit. Release the Kraken. Yeah, there was nothing with the Kraken.
I mean, no, what she said was, it was, and we talked, Sean and I talked about this too. Like, it's the information that she had and the affidavits. They're legitimately like, they're legit. The problem is you don't have, um, you have an enforcement problem. Like the DOJ is not going to give a shit. The FBI is not going to give a shit because a lot of them are fucking establishment too. You're climbing uphill when you have an establishment that's like that wants to take power. Like Trump is one of those like he already has power. He's trying to give it back to the American people. But these establishment people, they want to gain power. Like
Exactly.
they're constantly looking for ways to strip us of our fucking rights, and that's both sides.
That
That's left and right. Um, but so the Dominion, I believe all the stuff that she says about Dominion. I believe it all.
oh me
Um,
oh me too. I just my my problem was instead of just talking out the thing, they needed to get the stuff before the Supreme Court.
Right.
So
Well, I mean, you bring it up and it's supposed to be investigated, but you have a DOJ and an FBI and a Congress that's like, we don't give a fuck. Like, I mean, that's the problem. It's an enforceability issue. Like people that they're supposed to, and the problem is because there's an establishment class, um, you're not going to get the same treatment. Like President Trump's getting fucked because like really, if the roles were reversed and Biden was the one that was getting hosed, bet your ass there's going to be fucking investigations up the wazoo, right? We saw that with Donald Trump with in the first time, the first fucking term. They never let that shit go. Like they had investigations up with Russia collusion all up the wazoo. Bullshit investigations. And like the level of probable cause for that shit way lower than what we got right now on Joe Biden. Like way lower. And nobody's giving a shit because it's the establishment. The establishment's like, well, fuck you guys. Like, they want to get, and this is part why I'm like, people are like I was telling Sean that that I have friends down in Georgia. I lived in Georgia for almost 6 years. I have plenty of friends in Georgia. Most of them are like, if Senators Perdue and Loeffler are not, if they don't do something to support Trump, there some of them are not only not going to vote for Perdue and Loeffler, they're probably going to vote for Warnock and Ossoff just out of spite. Like, and uh, and that opinion hasn't changed. Like even they said that a couple days ago, and then I just recently asked them after the Trump rally, and I was like, oh, has your opinion changed? Is like not in the fucking slightest, because like no, it's about time somebody holds these people's feet to the fucking fire, because like Team MAGA has given them pretty much everything they want. They've given them, they've voted for them. They've, you know, embraced all their, embraced everybody, gave them everything they want. And it's like, and now that we're at a point where Trump needs them the most, it's like, we're distancing ourselves from this guy. It's like, well, all right. I guess we're going towards socialism. Just to try, and it's and you hear GOP people saying, "Oh, well, that's dumb. We got to save the republic and all that." I'm like, I have no problem saving the republic as long as they do their fucking job, right?
right. I mean, at this point, I guess my point is, I'm more concerned with saving the country as a whole than I am the GOP. The GOP,
Yeah.
I feel like at this point isn't going to do shit to stop Biden.
Well, I mean, I like the idea. I mean, as much as do I think that I think some of them are still going to vote. I mean, I think some of them are still going to vote for Loeffler and Purdue, but I do love the idea of holding their feet to the fire and holding them accountable. And if that means you got to put your fucking vote as a bargaining chip, hey, do it. I'm okay with that. Like I'm like, how many? Like I don't like, because really they got until January. What, the election's January 5th. You got until January 5th to start making some fucking moves, right? And I mean, get to stepping, And it's like, oh, we can't do nothing here in Georgia. Like you have a Republican governor, a Secretary of State, you got a Senate, you got a House of Representatives, you got literally everything. Literally, the Republicans literally have everything in fucking Georgia. You got Democrats. You have Vernon Jones, right? The fucking Democrat on your team. Like, you better give a something. Just even if it's a fucking tweet, like something. Give these people something.
Could they have been given a better hand? Honestly. Like,
Literally.
they're so scared of Stacey fucking Abrams. That fucking
No, they're just scared of anything. They're scared of anything. Anything that involves work.
yeah.
Anything that involves work.
Well, they picked the wrong profession. Well, actually, no, they probably picked
They picked the right profession. No, that's exactly. Well, now, I mean, look, I'm telling you, I love the. Do I think that it's a. Do I think that's I was like, look, I think some of these people will probably end up voting for Loeffler or Purdue, but I'm more than okay with holding these people's feet to the fucking fire. Like I'm more than okay with that. I think we should be doing that shit more often, right? It's kind of like Democrats with a black vote. Like, and you saw a whole bunch of African Americans going, "Hey, what are we getting out of this?" Right? We've been voting for y'all for fucking decades, and we ain't got shit for it. What are we getting out of it now? I think there's a similar sentiment with the MAGA vote, right? Look,
Yeah.
we've moved mountains for y'all. What the fuck are we getting out of this? Very similar sentiment.
Well, I will say this, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I actually love AOC because
Me too.
because AOC has driven a lot of like moderate Democrats to becoming, I wouldn't say like hardcore conservatives, but she's driving people away from the Democrat Party because of how
Agreed. That and well, you look at Trump, right? Trump himself, he's got a slice of his base is moderate. It's not really Republican. Like you have a lot. You do have Democrats that embrace Donald Trump. You have people that would probably otherwise be socialists that embrace Donald Trump because part of the thing that attracts people to Donald Trump is he's anti-establishment. He's probably one of the most anti-establishment presidents that we've ever had. And so it's like they're not tied to the GOP. Like the Team MAGA is not tied to the GOP. In fact, they would have no qualms going to vote for the other anti-establishment candidates, which a lot of them are on the Democratic ticket. You know, they have no problem going that direction. So they might want to think twice before they, just take the MAGA vote for granted, because there's not only not going to be people not voting for you, but they're probably going to vote for the other guy, right? So they really got to be careful and saying, we're not going to do shit, and playing this game of political chicken with the MAGA base, because they'll fucking surprise you.
Right. No,
I have friends. I literally have friends down there that are saying the same shit. They're like, look, there's a whole lot more of us that feel the exact same way. And that got my attention. And that's what I was trying to tell people. I'm like, look, you got to understand, you better start doing more, or else you're going to fucking lose. Even the people that are like on the polls, like they're saying, oh, well, now I'm hearing some of these people, some of these Twitter assholes are like, oh well, Kelly Loeffler's looks like she's up in the polls, so she's gonna be okay. Like, really? Really? You're gonna go buy another fucking poll again, right? We're gonna do this fucking game. I'm literally telling people, like, look, you need to fucking embrace what the fuck I'm telling you, because we're seeing it anecdotally, right?
And
Uh,
real quick, I do want to address that kick boy. I'm not giving up on Trump, and I don't think anyone here is.
yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I think the MAGA movement is a lot bigger than Trump.
Oh no, I agree with that totally. I've never not agreed with that. I'm saying this part right here is more what the fuck are you doing for us? Cuz Team MAGA is not Team GOP. Like, we're not this isn't going to be the party. This isn't going to be the party of Mitt Romney that fucking just lays down and fucking takes it, you know. Like, this is the MAGA group are a bunch of fucking fighters. They're a bunch of fucking fighters. Like, these people think, like, the GOP people think that Team MAGA is just going to kind of lay down and just let them have, like, give them their vote and give them the power and give them all this shit, like, and get nothing in return. It's like we're not, like, Team MAGA is not playing that fucking game.
I will say too, while I do agree the MAGA movement is in some ways bigger than Trump, I think it's important to realize right now that the movement cannot continue without Trump. And I bring that up because it's not ready yet, and we're already seeing it. And there was a piece written by Ann Coulter in Breitbart, and I believe on her blog, it said Trumpism without Trump, and she was kind of cheering it on that he lost and that we were moving on without him.
The MAGA movement will continue. The GOP might not.
Yes. But her point, though, was that Trump, while he created this great movement and awakened a lot of people, failed on all his promises, betrayed his base, and was basically terrible. And she thinks people like DeSantis and others will be better. I like DeSantis. I like Gates. I like a lot of people coming out of Florida. I like Sam.
They're all of them are there because of Trump. Literally, all of
Exactly.
them are there because of Trump.
Well, those people who are saying that they're giving up, and I'm not one of those people who's giving up on Trump because he didn't, because he didn't do X, Y, or Z. That's crazy, and I think that's what Fat Cake Boy was kind of, asking at, and I'm not in that boat at all. What I'm right, you have I've noticed two opposite extremes. Like, you have the Ann Coulter types who are like, well, Trump didn't do X, Y, or Z. We didn't get the border wall built fast enough, so therefore, fuck Trump, I'm abandoning him, right?
No.
And
that's stupid. You know how hard it is
stupid.
to build a fucking wall, a 2,000-mile wall. What the fuck is wrong with these people? Anyway,
And it was never
Go ahead.
going to be a 2,000-mile wall.
No.
It was going to be where we needed it, and he
Right.
pretty much did that. I'd say about 85%.
Well, and
he
then
did.
No, the wall, the amount of wall that's been done has been nothing short of fucking amazing. Nothing short
Especially
of fucking
considering how much he's been blocked
amazing.
by not just Democrats but also Republicans. And this is where, and I want to be clear, I'm not throwing you in that boat, Sam, but I know where you're coming from. But I think still, even when saying things like that I do agree with, we need to be careful, because what Anne is totally wrong about is that Trump is, people, again, like I said, people are loyal to Trump and they follow him and they listen to him. When he's gone, we're lost. Okay, maybe us three aren't, but like the movement's lost because they don't have a leader. Trump is the leader of this movement, And look, we've had, I have to say, I bring him up often because I follow everybody on the spectrum. But this is one thing you may agree with Nick on, Sam, and I'm not a big fan of Nick Fuentes, but he was bashing Ann Coulter for this because he said, look, we've had Trumpism without Trump for the past few, weeks here technically, because people have considered him quote unquote the loser of the election. And what are we getting? We're getting Dan Crenshaw coming back. We're getting Nikki Haley coming back, and all these other people. They're throwing Trump under the bus and trying to turn things back to normal, not doing shit. Trumpism without Trump is doing pretty shit.
Okay,
So,
yeah, I mean, and look, I get that, but also, and I'm not saying this because I dislike Nick, although I do, but Nick is not going to be the de facto leader of the.
no.
At least he better not be, because he is. I will say this: he has kind of toned it down a bit to where I can to where I don't completely hate him as much as I used to, but
I do like how he's kind of I won't say matured, but like you said, tone things down. He could become a very valuable,
well,
effective, asset to this movement if he keeps going in this direction.
well, so I think you've heard me talk about my admiration for Breitbart, not the news organization, but the man.
Andrew Breitbart.
Yeah.
By the way, Sam, did you notice how so the Trump's legal team, and Sean and I were talking about this on Periscope, how they're doing a typical Andrew Breitbart move. Like, to me, what they're how the legal team, like Giuliani and Ellis, how they're handling the legal stuff is very Andrew Breitbart-ish. It's like they're dropping information, they're letting the press and politicians react to it, like they're trying to debunk it, and then they're releasing more information to debunk their shit. Like, it's just like, that's the typical Andrew Breitbart move. Like, Andrew Breitbart used to do that shit. Like, he'd used to drop a story, and then when the mainstream media would try to debunk it, or like, where's the proof? Oh, you have no proof. There's nothing like that. Then he dropped the proof, and then to make them look like total shitbags. Like, it was such a genius move by Andrew Breitbart. And like, it was like this psyop, like it's this press psyop shit. And I could see it with Giuliani and Ellis. Like, I see some of those same qualities. And that, to me, that, like, because I know you were a big Andrew Breitbart fan. And so, like, I had to kind of see what you thought about that, see if you thought anything similar, or
Yeah, I mean, so here's what I will say about Breitbart. If Breitbart were alive, MAGA if Breitbart were still alive, MAGA would have happened way earlier, like back in 2012. He was laying the groundwork for MAGA with his CPAC speech. The problem is, I'm not saying that like I'm perfect, but the problem is that we either have these people who are like really, they're either really well spoken, but they're kind of like, a little too posh or a little too pussyish, right? And they're ineffective because of that. And then we have the people like Nick who are effective, but they end up burning the whole fucking house down in the process, which is not what you want either. Breitbart struck the perfect balance of like being pithy and cool, that's what I'm trying to do with my show and why I like you guys. And also, I mean, sadly, we're about ready to lose Dennis Miller this coming week because he's retiring.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's he's retiring. Well, I don't want to announce anything quite yet, but seeing as how he's probably been my biggest influence in the podcasting sphere, besides Rush, I might see if he'll come on the Whitfield Report down the road, but no guarantees because I know that he likes his privacy as well. But
Yeah.
That'd be awesome, though.
I mean, I don't know. So basically, what I'm trying to get at is, like, yeah, I obviously want Trump to win, and I want Trump to succeed, but I was really, really severely depressed, at the beginning of November, and I'm kind of at the point now where I'm kind of like, it's not that I don't care, I just know that we have to move forward, right? And and we have
I know what you mean because I kind of went through my emotions quickly because I mean, look, I worked on this shit for like 6 months. I put all my blood, sweat, tears, and car into this,
yeah,
and
you
you
were
know,
you were literally working for, the campaign. I was just doing my regular talk show that I've done for years, but you were actually on the front lines of this thing, John.
yeah, I mean, I was doing it 24/7 for 6 months, and it was stressful. I took time away from my family, my girlfriend, made big sacrifices, got into a car crash, all this shit, and the Democrats hit print on a printer and, fudged some mail-in ballots, and they stole it. That's all they did, and it really took me down, but I think with the one thing the campaign kind of and also my time in college kind of, like, re-engineered in my mind, kinda rewired my mind to adapt quicker. I've gotten better at it. That's one thing my girlfriend said about me. She's like, one thing she knows is that I really adapt, and I kind of have been able to kinda speed that up. And when you're in a campaign, you kind of everything's at light speed. Moving quick, you're talking quick, you're acting quick, you're doing everything quick. But I think what I kind of rewired in my brain was to adapt to this quickly. I went, okay, I've done what I can. I can now make phone calls and make sure that cancel ballots should actually be canceled. I did that to help stop the steal. But what's next? This is all I can do is literally sit here and make phone calls. What else can I do? Like, where are we going after this? If it goes this way, what do we do? If it goes that way, what do we do? And I quickly I mean, seeing that we got 10 million more votes really just made me so happy to see that this is growing. He didn't lose any support, like some people were saying, like, "Oh, he pissed off," like Ann Coulter, "Oh, he's pissing off his base, he's losing support." No, it's not what fucking happened. He gained support and is bigger and better than ever before, and so I start thinking, what can we do next to keep the momentum going? And whatever happens in 2024, how can we set ourselves up for success?
I'm
Because it's all about keeping your eye on the ball, keeping forward, because this is a mass demoralization campaign that you're seeing. It's information warfare designed to
yeah.
demoralize us. And it's
I'm
kind of like at a point when you can see through that, which
yeah.
I think we're all like going higher up on this like hive mind 4D chess shit. Like once you start seeing the game and what they're doing, you can like literally just like toss it aside. You like it. You get the game and you just go for it.
Yeah. I agree with you totally though, Sean, which is why I'm like I'm actually more gung ho for Trump than I've been in a while. Like, I mean, I was always that way, but I'm even more now. I'm like, look, we've only got a couple more weeks, maybe. Um, let's see what happens.
Fat Kick
Let's
Boy,
go.
Fat
Let's
Kick,
go. Let's see what happens.
Fat
I
Kick
mean,
Boy
I mean,
asks. think Trump will declare martial law. Look, I don't mind if he does. If he does, good on him.
If there's anything that we've learned about Donald Trump over the last almost 4 years, we've learned that this man is unpredictable. That is his thing, and he uses that to his advantage. And I'm surprised that more people don't do that. Like more people aren't as unpredictable, because predictability in the political world is a terrible fucking thing. Anyway, so yeah, I wouldn't rule it out. I mean. Of course, you're going to have those weird people that are like we were talking about, like we were joking about,
The cute people.
we're going to do military tribunals and your fucking like insurrection act and start shipping people to Guantanamo Bay. And no, I mean, that's a fantasy, but again, I can't rule it out either, because it's Donald fucking Trump. Like
I can't, because it's crazy talk.
It
Martial
is
law is
crazy
crazy
talk.
talk. It's not going to happen.
But it's literally Donald Trump. He's got crazy in him. So like I can't it could be crazy, or it could be really intelligent, but you're getting one or the other.
Here's the question though, Sean. At this point in 2020, if Trump did declare martial law, what would be the fucking difference between that and like what's been going on in 2020 with the fucking lockdowns and whatnot? Like to me, if we went into martial law, I would kind of be like, okay, cool. We've been in martial law for fucking, as a country as a whole for the last, since like fucking March, basically.
Well, maybe metaphorically, but like with actual martial law, like we have the military taking over everything, and it's a totally different country.
I mean,
but
yeah,
I think it'd be
it's
funny.
one of those things like, oh, it
I
would be
think
hilarious.
no, I think it would be funny if they because some off the wall. Look, in these next few weeks, I would bet my wallet that some off the wall shit is gonna happen. Like I would bet my wallet that some really off the wall shit happens. Like some unpredictable shit that none of us would have maybe predicted could possibly happen. Like
I think that's possible. I still think the
I'm
most
betting on
likely thing is we're gonna be disappointed.
Well, I
Because
mean,
the hype levels are getting even
well, no, I
higher than
mean, I'm
Cyberpunk
saying
2077. This is unreal.
I'm saying I'm saying the off the wall, meaning like we've probably never thought of some shit. There's some shit that he's probably going to pull that none of us thought he's going to pull. Successful or not, I think that there's going to be some shit that he's going to pull that
I think he does have one more trick up his sleeve.
I think he's got more than one trick up his sleeve. I think it's going to be. Look, he's been that way since the moment he fucking went down that escalator, and fucking by God, if he goes out, that's exactly how he's going to go out.
Yeah.
I believe
just
that.
there's just so many weird elements going on that it's like, I mean, I think it's just going to be very, very disappointing for some people.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I mean, not for. I mean, I feel like I'm at a stage where I've already. I don't want to say I've accepted it, but I know that this is kind of the reality right now. So it feels like I'm gonna keep fighting because, well, fuck it, we're playing with house money. Like nobody's expecting Trump to pull this shit off. I'm like, fuck it, let's like I'm not going to be disappointed because I've already kind of sort of accepted it. So let's see what the fuck happens. Let's pull some let's 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 try some off the wall shit. Let's see what happens, man.
Yeah, and I think actually circling back to something that you were saying, um, Sam, about like Nick Fuentes, one of the things too that I've been noticing is that I don't know if you've been following any of these Stop the Steal rallies or anything like that, but there have been a few of those with Ali, Alexander, Alex Jones, Nick, and Malcolm's been to a few of them, and Straka and a few other people.
I've
And one thing
been following the Alex ones because I love
Yes.
Alex.
Yeah, those have been the best ones. Like, one thing I will say too, and I'll bring up some too that was funny. I noticed this at the CPAC after parties with Alex Jones and Nick, and I've noticed it with Milo and Nick, and I've noticed it with a bunch of people on the people we like on the new right that are media personalities, is that I think the smart ones, and I think we've talked about this before, they saw a lot of potential in Nick. They saw him as somebody who's young and talented, but start maybe to go into the wrong direction a little bit too much. And so they thought, we're like, this guy's talented. He could be very valuable. Let's keep him around us, keep him moderate and cool, and steer him in the right direction and teach him a few things. You notice he's been hanging out with Alex a lot too recently. So I think why those people have been sticking up for him, other than, the obvious principle sticking up for your fellow conservatives and people that have been censored and all that shit, but really to kind of, steer everybody in the right direction. And what's funny is, like, on the contrast of that with Turning Point, they had another event today where somebody asked Charlie a question that he didn't like. They kicked him out. And when Charlie did do like a Stop the Steal, whatever the fuck he did, this was going viral because I thought it was hilarious. Like, Nick actually was somewhere where Charlie was, and he fucking was confronting Charlie. And Charlie gets into a getaway car. And what is it? It's a fucking Prius. Like,
Oh,
how could you be so
God.
uncool?
That is
Well,
like the universal. Like, if you're fired, like, yo, if you say you're a conservative and you drive a Prius, you're fucking fired. Okay, you're fired.
Yeah, you're
I-
out. You're out.
I think I'm about to. I'll have to talk with my friend, but I've told you guys the story off air about what I know about Charlie. But
Yes.
I think it's time for me to finally tell my story about.
By the
Oh,
way,
shit.
is it at all related to the post that I made on Instagram?
I don't know. Maybe I
So,
well.
so okay.
So you're trying to say
now
that
I-
Charlie Kirk is a closeted homosexual? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that I made a post not too long ago. Okay,
Disavow.
that
I
I
don't even
made a
need to hear the
post not too
post.
long ago.
Disavow.
Right. So look. I'm trying to explain. Trying to explain the
Explain
situation.
yourself,
Okay.
Phil.
Okay. No. So there
I
was
can pull it up
there's a
on the screen
picture.
if you want.
There's a picture of Charlie Kirk weirdly proposing to his
To Miss
fiance?
Arizona.
I don't know.
This
Whoever-
is Miss Arizona, and they're in the middle of a fucking like a fucking photo shoot room, like a set.
It's the weirdest looking shit ever. But anyway, so Moa writes on his Instagram page. Yes, I weirdly stated myself in the third person. I was like, wow, this is amazing. I'm so thrilled. Charlie Kirk is straight. All this time I thought he was a closeted homosexual, but this totally convinced me.
I laughed actually out loud when I first read that because the tone was so sarcastic. It was amazing.
Here's what I can tell you. Charlie's not gay, but I know who is in Turning Point.
Wait, Rob Smith.
Nope.
You know who he is, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's not.
Okay, good.
It's not Rob Smith, and I.
Benny Johnson.
No, Benny Johnson. I will actually say this. Benny Johnson is actually. I don't really know his politics, but I will say this. Benny Johnson in my experience, has been very. Benny's actually been nice to me. When my uncle passed away, a few years ago, Benny actually messaged me on Facebook and was like, "Hey, sorry about that." So,
Wow.
and I mean, he didn't really even know me from Adam, and I didn't know him that well, but, you know, he, I always appreciate, when people are good like that. So, Benny's alright. Benny's alright in my book for that. So.
Yeah, props to him for that. So it's not Benny, it's not Charlie.
I can tell you, but I'll have to do off air. It'll make sense once I tell you. But
do I get any more guesses?
yes, I can I can tell you that this person is also married.
Oh fuck. Oh man. And they are still in Turning Point.
As far as I know.
Oh god. I'm
Here,
gonna dig deep on this shit.
Let me I can type it. I can type it in. I don't even know if this person is worth Turning Point anymore, but I think they are. Let me.
See, so you're already give yourself a way out there. Sako, Sam, you said that they were in Turning Point.
I think they are still. Here, let me.
Yeah, you can send it to me. I just like trying to guess things. I like doing that. It's fun. The only other guy I know in Turning Point is Brandon Tatum, the ex-cop. All right, let's open up these DMs. I don't even know who that is actually. I'm gonna have to Google that on a screen that is not being shown up to the people. Were they in like the higher ups?
Yeah.
Dude, do they even exist?
Yeah, for a while, this person was pretty high up.
Are you sure you spelled their last name right? Because I'm not coming up with anything on Google.
I fucked up their last name, but let me go on. Let me. Hold on, folks. Dead air. Sorry about this. I'm actually going into my address book, which I never use. So.
Dude, my content. Oh, are you talking about a physical address book?
No, on my phone.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say I use my address book all the time. Man, if I lose that, like there's so many contacts I lose. And the thing too is like, look, I have nothing against gay people. I am totally fine with it. Doesn't bother me. But what bothers me is when you are dishonest, when you're disingenuous. Milo is open and honest about it. Like he is extremely open about it. And it's cool, it's funny, it's fun the way he does it. So he's very likable and very real. Whereas other people, when they say they're X, Y, and Z and they're really not, it's gonna rub you the wrong way. I mean, I can understand if you're in the closet and all that jazz and you're scared to come out, but like it's 2020. It's not exactly the scariest thing to do. But it's interesting seeing just like the contrast growing with Turning Point and other people. I mean, that's why we've always talked about making that that third option to your CRs and Turning Point, and we're gonna work on that because the world needs it.
I mean, honestly, I want to start, and I know there are several podcast networks already out there, but I want to. This is all I wanted to do was to start like a big podcast network and have me and have you and have other people do shows and just, you know, we would do our own thing and fucking like make it work.
Oh, I found this guy now. I think yeah, looks like he's still with them.
Uh-huh.
Hmm. Oh, okay, I see what he is. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like he's still in that position. Yeah, he's worked his way up the totem pole for sure. Yeah. No pun intended.
Oh. Yeah, he's the other thing I've noticed is like a lot of, is like, you know, groups like Turning Point and the Young Republicans, like the college Republicans,
Hmm.
like they're college organizations, but a lot of them act like high school students, just with the drama and whatnot.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, the thing is, like the MAGA movement. Again, I keep I keep telling people, like, there's a large chunk of the MAGA movement is anti-establishment. Because you look at Donald Trump, who's the leader of the MAGA movement. He's anti-establishment. He's not a politician. He's a fucking real estate mogul who fucking decided to do the whole political thing. He's not the guy. Like, the establishment is basically career politicians or people who want to make this thing a fucking career. Like, this is their livelihood. Like, the whole a whole lot of people, like, like, we wanted to make a change. Like, we wanted to make a change. You got Alex, Sean, and myself. Like, none of us are were poli-sci majors. We weren't even poli-sci minors.
No,
We that like yo, we were doing this because we legitimately wanted better for just everybody, period. Like, this was our thing. Like, I think we're genuinely good people. Like, that. So obviously we didn't connect with, like, the Penn State GOP. Like, people were, I don't know if people were expecting it or whatever, but, like, yeah, we didn't care about all that. Like, but anyway, I know I just digressing, but that's part of the MAGA movement. And so that this is what I was trying to tell people, like, the you know we are, like, if the MAGA movement goes away, don't be surprised if some of these people don't start going to, like, other anti-establishment people, which aren't conservative. Just throwing that out to you.
Warfus does bring a good point up though in the chat. Warfus says he is the establishment. There comes a point where he became that which people deny him even being to this day. I mean he is the president of the United States, and you know,
I still don't think he's the establishment, though, because
Yeah.
the establishment kept trying to fucking derail him at every turn, every day since he's been in office.
The establishment is not the presidency. The establishment is the elite donor class that has rigged the system against the people and is actively working in every industry and branch of power possible to fuck over average working class people for their own money and power.
Yeah.
Right, it's that simple. It's in big tech, it's in immigration, it's in big business, it's in some of these big conservative think tanks and the parties, it's in the donor system, the donor
Yeah.
class,
But I mean,
it's in the
naturally,
lobbyists, it's in special
yeah.
interests,
But
and it's
you,
in Congress.
but
I mean, it's
these are people.
everywhere.
These are people that are naturally trying to gain money and power, and you can't do that in politics without fucking over
People.
people.
Yeah. I mean, that's the difference. If you are doing something for the genuine good of the country, you odds are won't be getting any money or power from it. Specifically, money and power that just benefits yourself. You know, if you're in it for money and power, you are the establishment. If you're in it for the country, you are anti-establishment. It's literally that simple. Oh, we have a oh, I remember you shovel point in the chat. Do you think Trump could enforce the executive order he signed in 2018? Which executive order is that?
Oh, is that the one where the election interference executive order 2018? That's the one where it basically gives him the right to seize any property that's involved in uh any election interference type shit.
Mm, that sounds feasible. I think they've already been doing that, haven't
Well,
they?
I mean, technically, I mean, if you really wanted to dig deep, if you really wanted to stretch it, you could probably take Facebook.
Yes.
Mm,
Yes. That'd be badass. That'd be crazy, but badass.
mm,
He says yes, imposing certain sanctions. Yeah, I think we're on the same page with that.
mm,
But I've been scrolling through Turning Point's Twitter and it's so boring. Like, oh my god. And it's so like the memes are bad. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's always somebody smiling awkwardly and saying some milk toast quote next to them.
mm.
God, how times have changed. I mean, just remember in 2016 the energy and edginess we had and how now it seems so like fringe compared to this. And obviously it's not fringe to normal people, but like it's what they're trying to do to the normies. Oh god, man. You know, and the other thing too is like, as you bring up the, oh, there's my ex-field organizer on there. Funny. It's one thing like you mentioned when we talk about the colleges that remind me of is that with COVID being locking everybody down, there's been very little activism. But once it's gone and we're back on the ground, it's going to be interesting to see how the landscapes change because whether Trump wins or loses, or sorry, gets stolen from him this election is gonna change. It's gonna be interesting to see how the culture wars continue on the college landscape, if there is any. Like the CRs aren't gonna be fighting it unless they all get, overthrown by MAGA America First people.
Mm, yeah. I'm just oh, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled that at the rally he said he wasn't going to secede. He wasn't going to surrender. I'm like
Yes.
I loved it. I loved that part because it felt in the like I was saying before in the beginning it felt like he was kind of somber. Like it felt like he was
Hmm.
kind of somber in the beginning and then it was like he fucking just came out at the end and was like, "I'm not conceding. We'll never surrender. We'll never surrender this country." Like, oh shit! It's like I would be. I'm like, yeah. He needs to. Like the thing is, he's at the point now where they're like, "Oh, is Donald Trump going to do anything drastic?" I'm like, what what options does Donald Trump have that aren't drastic?
Hmm.
Like drastic and unprecedented. Like that's any option he has is going to be drastic
the
and
the
unprecedented.
the word drastic is, I mean, that's pretty funny coming from 2020, because it's like it's like
Yeah.
it's like okay, so you people complaining that Trump was doing drastic shit, like, you guys didn't think that Fauci, you don't think that masks are drastic, you don't think that absurd social distancing is drastic.
It's more drastic as the fucking lockdowns.
Exactly. That's my point. The whole COVID response has been drastic.
And that's kind of what I've been saying a little earlier, and one kind of part of what I'm trying to get
And
at is like
and
how the mindset of the country's changed, and like after going through all this, like what are people gonna be like? Like what's the attitude gonna be like? What are people gonna want?
and by the way, I've said this before. I said this last night on the Whitfield Report stream with Apex. I'm saying here tonight, and I'll say it on tomorrow's stream. I've been saying this for months. But if you guys think that COVID is going to go away because Biden is president, if you think this thing is going to go away in the next year or even 5 years, you are fucking delusional. This is the new 9/11. This is the new Patriot Act, basically. They still haven't given up the power from the Patriot Act. They're not going to. The government is not going to relinquish, the mask stuff or anything. Within the next 5 years probably. So, yeah, Warfist is right. COVID is here to stay until 2030. If by then COVID might be something that exists for the rest of my lifetime, sadly.
Well, I think you're probably definitely going to get some people voluntarily that are mask Karens that are going to keep wearing masks whenever they get sick, whenever they go to a public place, whenever they go travel, they're going to wear masks like freaking China does. It's at the same time though, every action is equal and opposite reaction. You get those anti-maskers that are going to be like really strongly against this stuff, and I think again, the further physical political divide of the country is going to continue. Blue people are going to stick in their areas and red people are going to stick in their areas, and it's just going to accelerate that because we're just living like one land with two countries in it. It's really bizarre. But Shovel Point also says drastic. The MAGA people are going to start bringing industrial wood chippers with them. That would be cool. Let's make that happen, guys. Can't we have a George Soros that funds industrial grade wood chippers? Oh god, these Charlie Kirk memes. I'm going down a rabbit hole on Google Images.
I broke you, Sean. You used to be worth Turning Point, and then you met me. So
yeah, it's all your fault, Sam.
no, actually, it's I mean,
it's Nicholas J. Fuentes' fault.
well, actually, here's what I will say: if Charlie had actually been a man and defended his, chapters from the gripers, and not let you guys take the brunt, I probably wouldn't be on this. I mean, I probably still would be on this podcast, but I wouldn't have engaged the gripers as much as I did. So
That's a good point, because that's it's weird, because while I disagree with the gripers on quite a few things, especially the racial stuff, they at the same time they kind of like fully took me and turned me off from Turning Point, because I'd seen the signs before this.
yeah,
There's a lot of things, and we've talked about it, where They wouldn't let us bring certain speakers, like Sargon, for example. They said, "No, you can't bring him," even though they
You
kind
went ahead and did it anyway.
of. That's one way to put it. Yeah, and they kind of were too. They called it too late, so I was like, "Haha, we win in the end." But it was that sort of stuff, the disconnect with the chapters, just
Mhm.
overall with what they wanted and what we wanted. They wanted to send us a wrestler that even Phil hadn't even heard of, and Phil followed wrestling probably closer than anybody I knew.
Mhm.
And they memes and posters that I love that they were doing them, but some are good and some are bad. Like, the signs were there, and the Don Jr. event where people couldn't ask questions at all, the signs were there, and I kept holding on because not only was I involved with it, but it was the best thing we had. It was the only thing we had. So it's like, we just gotta run with this. We'll make it our thing. And that's what we did. But when the Groiper Wars happened, Charlie Kirk just looked like such a hack and such a phony. And it was look, it really was sad for me because I could tell this is bad. This is the end for him. Obviously, he's gonna stick around. He's got the money, he's got the status, but you're gonna lose
He's got
your
the Prius.
followers. Yeah, yes, he's got the Prius still. But it's just shattered his reputation, and that's something you don't get back. And if you do, it's extremely fucking hard. So it's when we started looking elsewhere and realized we just got to do it ourselves in the end. And that's where Uncensored America was born and has been on limbo ever since. So
Mm.
we're gonna still push hard with that because Charlie Kirk has disappointed a lot of people and has broken a lot of people from Turning Point. Turning Point has so much potential and it just doesn't use it.
Yeah, that it's funny. Um, like I remember being at the like being at the event, like coming up to see the event, and
And it was lit.
yeah, of course, we were gonna make it lit regardless.
Yeah.
But but and then one of the heads at the time, right, was saying, oh, was
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, he was like, oh, we kind of the upper management really didn't really want Sargon, but we kind of it was kind of quick. It was kind of quick, so he went ahead and kind of got he pulled a like Sean might have pulled a fast one. I'm like, yeah, that's my boy. All right, now
Yeah,
and then
right, we did.
and he's like, well, the next guy he picked, they definitely won't get him. I'm like, guess what, motherfucker? We're probably gonna get away with that one too.
Oh god. If
Smell
only
you
people
later,
knew.
bitch. We're gonna do it anyway.
And
And,
that's the winning attitude,
and
you know?
had the Rona not hit, we would have
Oh,
gotten away with it again.
yeah. But we're, we're still gonna try and make it happen because it's such a fucking amazing opportunity, and it's one of the few like I've navigated all the echelons, crawled through all the trenches. It can happen, and there's a lot of places it can't happen. But if it can happen, we're gonna make it happen.
One of so like the most attractive part of the MAGA movement, and the one thing I think the one thing that has made us get along so well, right? All of us is that what we do is essentially a big FU to the fucking the
Yes.
people. There's nothing greater to me than just flipping my finger to the normal, the establishment, the fucking clicky kind of bullshit. Like, no,
Mhm.
fuck you.
Yeah.
warms my heart more than like I don't know. And it was just like even if we lost like it in terms of like the like the color Republican elections or something like that, like the fact that we were just throwing a wrench into everything that they were fucking doing
That was
made
great.
glorious, like just glorious. Even if we did eventually lose, like it was like the 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 role of just making their lives as difficult as humanly fucking possible. Like that was a joy. That was an absolute joy. Nothing brought more joy than to see these people suffer. Like,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We made them suffer, and they deserved it.
yeah. And I
That's
was
the
like,
thing. It's like if you're cool, we're gonna be cool.
well,
If you are a piece of shit, oh, you better hope you don't run into us.
see, I was a little bit more envious of you though, because you have a little bit of a filter. Like there's a little bit of a filter. Like
There is.
you do a lot, but like I mean you also have a filter, so you're able to like, you know, articulate things more properly or whatever. Me, I just fuck
I
whatever the fuck I think of is like whatever the hell's coming.
And we need that. Like that's the thing is like kind of going back to something we were talking about, like what you were saying, Sam, with like the people that are too proper and formal and kind and respectful, and then they're cucky and they're boring, and then and pish posh. But then you have the people that are a bit too brash, that they're turning some people off. But you kind of need all of that. You need your people in the middle, your people that are brash, your people that are uh, a little more well spoken, because they all appeal to different people, different flavors for different folks. Like I have a good buddy that's now leading the Turning Point chapter at Penn State, who invited Dennis Prager. Very different from who I would bring.
Yeah.
I brought the Hellraisers and the people that cause mass protests. Very different styles,
Mm.
but we both agree on most things, and we both voted for the same guy twice.
Intriguing. Like, look, and I'm not gonna lie. It was for I like I mean he was talking about getting Dennis Prager for a while too.
Yeah.
Like and I'm
I
totally I
I
supported it. I was like, yeah, totally fucking do it, man. That's awesome. Like,
I I know I'm about ready to take my audience off here, and maybe you guys, but I actually like Dennis Prager. He's one of my
no, I like him too. I
he's
just like I mean, I like, I like
I
bowling balls in china shops a little bit
well
more, but still.
well I do like the fact that Dennis Prager put Ben Shapiro in his place though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, did you not see that? Did you not see that during the 2016 election?
Was that over his never Trump stance?
Yeah, so
Fuck yeah.
so Ben called into Prager's radio show, and Prager, who is say what you will about Ben Shapiro, but right, he's a legit smart guy. So is Prager though. I mean, they're both highly educated, but Prager basically said that like he basically said, Ben, I don't understand. He said you're a smart guy, but you are so. He basically said you are so at this point you're overthinking Trump's flaws way too much. That basically you're so smart with Trump. He didn't say this, but he basically said you're so smart, you're stupid when it comes to Trump. So
True. Yeah, and I would definitely take a Prager over Ben Shapiro any fucking day. Do I like religiously watch Dennis Prager? No, barely watch him. but I think he's a good force in our movement. I do dislike when he has these events about banned people and tech censorship, and he brings on people that are still on tech platforms. He should be bringing Laura Loomer, like first and foremost, Alex Jones and Milo and a few other
Oh, Laura
people,
Loomer would
but he
be
doesn't.
awesome.
Yeah.
Laura Loomer would be awesome. You know what? If we like that would be, dude. Like,
Set
I wonder if there's any way. And
from
I know we're already talking about like we're just openly
Yeah,
talking about.
don't let the GD out yet.
Okay. Anyway.
But I
Yeah.
know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
I will say, and I kind of have a little bit of regret. I don't have regret. Fuck it, I don't have regrets on this because we brought Hunter along with Sargon. I was given the offer of bringing Laura too, but that was actually in place of Sargon because I was afraid things might not work out. And so I talked to Laura Loomer's at the time manager, like agent sort of person,
Mhm.
and ended up not really happening. But I can say she's very possible, especially now that she's not on the campaign trail. So
Mhm.
stay tuned. But see, to show you a little, like a little bit of the contrast of what I'm saying of as to what I want to do and what other conservatives want to do is like other conservatives are very, they want to be polite, and I understand it. I personally think fuck politeness at this point, but
Mhm.
like it's so interesting to look at like the Penn State News article headline differences for Prager. This is literally the headline. The article they did on him. This was the headline. It says Dennis Prager, wait for it, condemns the left. Wow.
what do you,
Wow.
Sean? What do you think of Adam Carolla? Just
I
by
love Adam.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
because
Like him as well.
I know that Adam and Dennis Prager are like really close.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's why I have
Um,
good feelings mostly about Prager.
Mhm.
but
But
then
it's like,
but then again, Carolla is also still on YouTube.
Mhm.
he is, which is actually amazing, to be frank. And
Well,
I,
he has. Well, his podcast is a little bit different. Like he doesn't rely on YouTube for
true.
revenue. Like his was actually his podcast was actually one of the very first successful money making models, like for as
Mm-hmm.
far as podcasts go.
He I mean, Adam Carolla is one of the reasons why I lost. I mean, not that I ever really respected Howard Stern to begin with, but Howard Stern is just so he's petty. He got really Howard Stern got really petty with Adam Carolla and Joe Rogan both because, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to go off on a tangent here, but just to
That's
kind
fine. We always circle back.
but just to kind of illustrate how much the media landscape is changing, right? Howard Stern was one of these people way back in like 2008 who, granted podcasting wasn't big back then like it is now, but Howard Stern was just like, Adam, what the fuck are you doing hosting a podcast? What even is a podcast? Why didn't you come over here to Sirius and, like get on a network with me and, and Robin and, ho ho and, and then later like during 2016 he's like, Adam Carolla has become a real like white right wing guy. Like he used to be cool and now he's not. And
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, well, Howard, you're just mad because like podcasting basically, once people found out that podcasts were free and they didn't have to pay for Sirius anymore,
Yeah.
that's, I mean, does anyone here subscribe to Sirius? I keep getting offers, but I mean,
think Phil
I
does.
have it. I have it in my car. I just don't. I mean, I don't really. I don't listen. Like I have Howard Stern on my car. I just don't fucking listen to it.
I
Like I don't.
I will say that I did listen to Howard's interview with Wolfgang Van Halen, but
Mhm.
that's a bit. Anytime Howard has someone related to Van Halen on, that's when I'll tune in. But other than that, I don't care. So
Well, see, with Howard Stern, I obviously am younger than people that listen to him in his heyday, and
same.
I, yeah, and I think the clips I see of him in interviews, I think he's a very good interviewer. Like, he actually impressed me. It's a very different style
He
than
is.
most because it's very fast paced, which I like. And he kind of cuts people off, but he does in a way to kind of keep like digging deeper and he gets stuff out of people that other interviews won't get. And that's to me is the power of interview. You can tell it's a good interviewer if they get good shit out of them. And he
So
does do that. So he's a really good interviewer. But
so is Joe though.
yeah, and it's a different style. It's I would think longer, more laid back, more relaxed, but it's very conversational and he gets people to say things that are very, you wouldn't kind of get in those casual manners. And he's very good at it. So is Adam. Graham Norton's honestly probably one of the most underrated ones because he gets his guests say some of the funniest shit ever after a few drinks.
Again, Dennis Miller was a terrific. I mean, he is
Yeah.
a terrific interviewer, and if you listen to my mannerisms and then you listen to him, I mean, there's no denying I've picked up several Millerisms over the
Yeah.
years.
That's the
So
power of influence. That's awesome. I mean,
that
that's what I always love hearing.
that's one thing that I was trying to help Big Bird with it, but he you know
Didn't take the advice.
no, he just wanted to talk out the moon and the Jews and other weird things which we're not going to get into because uh
Hey, we'll pull this off here soon. We can get into all the shit we want, especially some plans that we have already been crafting on air. But the one thing I'll say about Howard, and I was going to go back to the Penn State stuff because it's just interesting to observe, is that he at least was edgy, pushing boundaries, getting like fines up the wazoo for what he did back in his heyday. But like a lot of people that start off cool and sell out, he started getting safe and safer and safer and safer. And now he has Hillary Clinton on and he's becoming like such a social
well
justice warrior.
you know why that is, right?
Well, I will say
Have you
I've
heard
seen that video of
have
like when he's giving that like presentation to his employees, and that totally like turned me off from
that
him. That's
that
when I stopped with him.
that's part of it, but it's even more it's even more delusional than that, Sean.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Does that have to do with Trump?
Howard Stern so in 2017 after the election, Howard Stern basically said, and I paraphrase, that Donald Trump never called to thank me for his victory. He legit thinks Howard Stern legit thinks that he's the reason why Trump became popular. He thinks he's the reason why Trump ran, and he thinks he's the reason kind of why Trump won. I kid you not. That's how delusional Howard. So that's why he wants to have Hillary on. He thinks that if he has Hillary on, Hillary will become more likable on his show. He thinks that he made Trump likable, and that if he could do that for if he could do that for Donald Trump, if he could make Donald Trump a household name, then he can make Hillary Clinton a household name.
That's the dumbest logic ever. And I know I know you're right that that's what he thinks, because in that presentation that got leaked, that like corporate PowerPoint he was doing, showed how corporate he got, how big his ego was. But he kept saying, like, Lady Gaga comes on our show, album to #1, we make her popular. That was the constant theme, was people come on my show, then they become popular. Howard, that's not how it works. It's
Not anymore. That granted, that might have been how it was in the early '90s when he was big.
right.
That used to be the way things were. But I mean, I'm sorry, Howard, but Joe has kind of taken your place in that.
And you notice who he's also jealous of, which I find really interesting, is Alex Jones. I was just on his Twitter, and
Yeah.
the first thing I see is a fucking mockery of Alex Jones, because he does this like constant, like, I guess recurring joke of mocking Alex Jones, and I'm like what? That's just so, that tells you how big Alex must actually be.
Well, to be fair, Howard is mocking Bob Saget now too, because Bob's
For real.
because Bob Saget has a podcast now, and it's not political, but it's good. I really like listening to it, and apparently he's mad that Bob Saget is doing well in podcasting now, because Bob Saget used to be a guest on Stern, I guess.
Wow.
So he's just bitter that it's not 1992 anymore, and Jenna Jameson isn't going to come on and, like, finger herself on his show anymore.
Well, he got
So,
Miley Cyrus on to say that she had sex over FaceTime.
ew. What a revelation.
Wait, Miley Cyrus is crazy? What?
Yeah.
I mean, that stuff's always kind of like, it's good headlines, it's a good way to, crazy sell. So it's a great way to get people to click on your shit. But it's like, he is a shell of his former self in many ways. But to circle back to the Penn State thing, the reason I brought that article headline up is because I'm not dissing Prager or like Turning Point Brigham or anything like that, but it tells you just how different it is. The worst thing they say about him is he condemns the left. This is what they said about Sargon. Controversial YouTubers Carl Benjamin and Hunter Avallone speak at Penn State. Crowd protest Turning Point speakers Carl Benjamin and Hunter Avallone. Editorial hateful pass of Turning Point USA speakers. Penn State denounces repulsive comments of YouTubers. Like, it's like next level, It's like it's hilarious how they just freaked out over somebody. And this is why I bring this up. Somebody that's way more quote unquote moderate, quote unquote centrist or center left or classical liberal than Dennis Prager. Sargon always says he's a British liberal, and it's like the freak out was bigger. It's hilarious.
It's perception is what it is. Like,
It's always perception. Reality does not exist in politics.
like
It's
people,
funny.
like, like people think this is how stupid people are. People think that or this is how stupid leftists are. Some leftist called me an ableist on Twitter a few weeks ago.
Yeah, how's that work?
I still don't know what that term. I mean, I know what that term means. I don't understand it still, but it's I don't know if they were trolling or if they're legitimately that stupid that they haven't read my Twitter bio
Yeah.
and not know. And I mean, I don't know. And even if even if I am quote unquote ableist in their opinion, so what? You know?
Yeah, it's stupid, very stupid. But I just saw Phil's message. He says we're at 4 hours. Holy shit!
Woo! We're going
We're going on a trip for 4 hours in a rocket ship.
we're going JRE levels here, guys.
Yes.
I mean how
Uh,
I did 2.5. I did 2.5 hours, last night.
Oh my god, I just found this. Yo, I need to show this to Phil. This was posted. I'll send it to you, Sam. Then we'll end the stream. This was posted on Reddit. Look at this shit. I didn't know about this. This is new. Sargon of Akkad and Hunter Avalon. This is on r/toilet paper USA.
Phil dropped out. Phil dropped out of the call.
Yeah, I know.
We can chat for. I'm down to keep chatting about whatever.
Yeah, we'll go off air because I have some off air things I'd like to discuss. But and it's good to kind of end this because it's been going. So what happens when we start earlier? So Sargon of Akkad and Hunter Avalon came to my school. So proud to have brave conservatives such as these at Penn State. It has the clown, dude. That's hilarious. And the guy with the Sargon waifu pillow. That's hilarious. Satire. Sargon's a joke. Ha ha ha. We're not an alt-right organization. Who are they quoting? Sargon literally defended the alt-right after Charlottesville. Not true. Parroting the theory that Heyer died of a heart attack. Why would anyone in right minds invite this fucker to an event? Because Sargon's awesome. Because he's a classical liberal. Or maybe he isn't alt-right. He's just crazy. Really, you should have sucked Avalon's toe. That's random. I'm at PSU2. Rip down loads of posters. Oh, we got you, motherfucker. You ripped down 10, we put 10 back up. What campus was this? I'm at the Erie campus and heard nothing about EX. It's at main campus. That's awesome. Some Reddit notoriety. I see. Interesting. Anyway, last thing I wanted to read was Shovel Point's comment in the chat because it's pretty funny. He said, "This year I'm naming my Christmas tree Amy Winehouse. Eventually it's going to die and needles will be everywhere."
That's been a running Christmas joke for a while, but it never gets old.
That's the first I've heard of it. So dark and hilarious. So we're gonna end the stream. We're already down. I've already lost both my co-hosts, and now I'm alone with Sam. So who knows what's gonna happen? So before anything gets even crazier, we're gonna end this and do some off-air banter.
And
I'm gonna lay down.
And I'll be on tomorrow doing a Sunday stream. I know I usually don't do Sunday streams, but since I've been kind of busy with finals the last few weeks, I'm gonna make it up to you guys. So I'll come up with something. Maybe I might actually do like a one-on-one with Sean or someone. I don't know. We'll come up with something for tomorrow, for Sunday. So
Yeah.
So
sounds
anyway,
awesome. Depending on the time, I may have time to do it. Oh, sorry. I was just saying, like, if you do need me, like,
okay.
I probably will be available.
Yeah, no problem. But anyway, this is your Sean. This is your show, Sean. So I don't want to step on your outro. But
no, that's fine. It's perfectly fine because if you want to follow Sam and step on his outros and crash his shows, you can follow him at Sam NWG and Sam _ NWGC. I got it right, didn't I?
Sam W _ NDC on
Dude, I'm so close.
But you can also follow me on Parler at Sam Whitfield, which is a lot easier to spell. So
yes, it is. Yes. it is.
Also, fuck at Sam Whitfield on Twitter, who's had the account since like 2009, but hasn't tweeted anything since
It's okay. I'll give you the password one day, Sam.
since then.
Yeah, no, I wish I wasn't that far ahead of the curve, but yeah, like and share, subscribe to this channel and also Sam's channel. He's a cool guy that I'll be honest, like I never expected that like you'd be our like frequent guest because when we started this whole shit on the Ray of Brain guest on, I was like, who's this Sam guy? And Phil told me who he was and all the Penn State connection. I was like, holy shit, I wish I'd known this guy before.
Yes,
So
you can thank your friend, you can thank your former poli sci professor, or no, your former what is it, philosophy professor?
You thinking of you mean sociology?
Oh yeah, sociology.
Yes, the right hand man of my former sociology professor.
Jeff actually used to be my co-producer.
Jeff, what happened? Where did you go?
He's around. He just doesn't want to. He doesn't want to. I keep trying to get him into a cage match with Dictator Phil.
Yo, I'd be lit.
But he always runs away when I tell him that Phil wants to debate him. So.
Oh my god, dude, it'd be fun. We'll do it for charity or something. But anyway, we're heading out. We're almost at 4.5 hours. Craziest shit ever. But thank you for tuning in, people. See you later.
All right, folks. See you tomorrow on the Whitfield Report at some point. I'll announce it. And yes, thanks for tuning in.
Wash your hands.
God bless and God save this great nation. And I'll have the